So today we're going to dive into a short, but wow, incredibly powerful piece of poetry. It just perfectly captures a kind of universal heartbreak in only a few lines. It's a raw look into what the poet calls the reality of relationships. Right out of the gate, the poem hits you with this absolute gut punch of a line. And get this, it's not presented as an opinion or a feeling, but like it's a law of nature. It's this stark, almost brutal foundation that sets the stage for everything that's about to follow. It's basically saying that every connection, it doesn't matter how deep or profound, is temporary. And by starting this way, the poet immediately taps into this fundamental, kind of melancholic rule of just being human. Before we even get into the personal stuff, we're grounded in a truth that we all on some level already know. And that is the genius of that opening. By starting so broad, so universally, the poem isn't just telling one person's story of pain, it's telling our story. It makes the very personal story that's about to unfold feel like it could be yours or mine. It's a story of loss that we can all connect with. Okay, so the poem lays down this huge, universal truth. Where does it go from there? Well, it zooms right in. It shifts from this big, abstract idea to a deeply personal story about a specific loss. This is where the pain really gets a name and a face. And this slide just illustrates the chasm between the past and the present so perfectly. Just look at this contrast. On one side, you have the intimacy of meeting every single day, that constant presence, and on the other, a silence so total that even a simple hello is gone. The emptiness is just absolute. Just listen to the emotion in these words. The speaker starts by stating a fact. The one I met daily, I don't meet anymore. But then comes this incredible pivot. Forget meeting, we don't even talk. It's like they're dismissing the physical absence as nothing compared to the crushing weight of that total silence. That's the real tragedy here.
You'd think the silence is the worst part, right? Well, the poem isn't done. It adds another layer of heartbreak, the memory of a promise. And this is what turns that quiet absence into a loud, echoing betrayal.
And there it is, the ghost from the past. A direct quote, a memory of a promise that's in just complete painful opposition to what's happening now. This isn't just a memory. It's basically an accusation against the present. It's a reminder of what was supposed to be. This really gets you thinking, doesn't it? I mean, why do those old promises sting so much when you're sitting in the silence of the present? I think it's because those words, they create this whole other reality, a future that was supposed to happen but just didn't. And that gap, that space between what was promised and what is, that's where the deepest pain lives. So where does all this pain and memory leave our speaker? Well, the poem is reaching its conclusion now, and it describes this search that finally, quietly, comes to a heartbreaking end. You can actually map out the speaker's journey to this realization right here. It starts with this long, active search, out in the real world. That search turns up absolutely nothing, which leads to this empty reality. And that brings us to the most important step, the final realization that the only place this person can be found anymore is inside their memory. And I want to be really clear here. This is not some comforting resolution. It's a sad, tragic acceptance. The search isn't over because the person was found. It's over because the speaker has finally accepted that they are gone from everywhere except for their own mind. That's their final home now. Okay, so let's pull back for a second and just talk about why these few lines are so devastatingly effective. How does this super short poem manage to communicate like a novel's worth of emotion? It all comes down to the structure, right? This perfect architecture of heartbreak that we've just walked through. It starts broad, with the truth we all get. Then it zooms in on that really painful contrast between then and now. It twists the knife with a promise that was broken, and it wraps up with that final, sad realization. Every step just builds on the last, creating this perfect, concise monument to loss. And that's what it leaves us with, this incredible, heavy question to chew on. Is a relationship that only exists in your memory, is it truly over, or has it just transformed into its final, permanent form? Something you can't touch, something that's locked away forever. It's a beautiful and kind of ambiguous note to end on, and it perfectly captures the complex reality of what it means to lose someone you once held so close.